run a small on-farm oil crushing facility called the Oil Barn. At least in part to me, organics means kind of a return to what we know does work and what we know is safe. And I think it gives a lot of people comfort knowing that something's raised without modern chemicals or genetically modified crops.
Some of the organics procedures go back to when early agriculture was practiced before the chemicals and pesticides. But in a way, some of that information may have been lost over the years, so the organic producer is relearning some of that information.
I work with a local farmer. His name is Casey Bailey, and he grows safflower for us and a number of other crops there on his farm. It's been good to have him because he's so close by, and he gives me a lot of the feedback that helps me to understand the farmer's perspective of growing a crop.
Our soils very much benefit from another crop in the rotation, and the safflower plant can do that for us as well as be a good thing for the tables of people. So I'll leave that up to you, Andrew, that you can handle the people and their plates, and I'll handle the soil.
So these are our oil presses, and they're crushing safflower right now. So the seeds fall down from this tank into the presses here, and there's a screw inside it that continually turns and crushes it up against the head. The dry meal comes out of the front of the press and the oil drips down below. These pellets are actually used as a protein supplement for cattle. We have about 4,000 acres that we farm, and we rotate between a number of different crops, from grains like wheat and kamut, barley, safflower of course, and we rotate between all that to kind of give our production diversity and to provide nutrients to the soil and help be a little more resistant to pests and weeds.
A lot of acres, 4,000, so we need big machines.
Seth Goodman is our farm manager here, and he showed us a tractor that had been converted to run off of waste vegetable oil. And that is kind of the second arm of what we're doing here with our safflower oil processing facility.
Essentially what we do is we grow and produce fresh cooking oil. We deliver it to restaurants and they use it, but we also receive that waste oil back, and we're able to sell that again to the farmers who use it as fuel. We are essentially selling the same product twice, but delivering two different values to two different people. And it kind of closes the entire circle of the life of the oilseed.
For a guy like me that's brand new to agriculture, it's great to know that there's organizations like the NRCS available that put on workshops and have a wealth of information to help someone out like me that doesn't know very much. They're a great resource for someone who's starting out or has questions, somebody that's even been in farming and agriculture for a long time.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, Andrew.
Looks like you're having fun. And you have help today.
I seem to always have help. Our farm is a family operation, but we maybe went about it in a non-traditional way. What we see is the benefit of growing up on a small family farm with animals and good food and our family all around us.
Oh, it's okay. He kind of freaked out. Yeah. Are you coming to see the bear? So we had a bear come, and here this used to be standing, and she ate quite a bit of the bird seed.
People farm for all sorts of different reasons, but Julie and I love to eat. And if you really value health and your body, there's nothing more important than food. And there really isn't anything better than food that's grown without pesticides and chemicals.
Initially, we learned about programs through the NRCS from another grower who had worked with Andrew setting up a high tunnel. So I contacted Andrew, and then he was able to help me through a process of so many different programs that I didn't realize were available. So not only the high tunnel, but lots of nutrient management programs with cover cropping and soil sampling, and we planted lots of trees and shrubs for beneficial insects and wildlife. So we set out with one project in mind, and then we were able to do so many more through that process, which was so helpful for us. We set up a big irrigation system that has been amazing.
Underneath this fabric here, they've got their drip irrigation system running, and so that's providing water directly to these plants and not watering all the weeds outside of that. So they've got the advantage of keeping weeds down with the fabric. The water is really concentrated right on the plant, and these tomato plants should do great this year. So Foothills will remove this at the end of the year as part of their organic certification to allow the soil to naturally regenerate and not have a synthetic material over it. And then they'll just roll it back out the next year. And this will last numerous years. I mean, it's starting to get a little bit worn, but it's still keeping the weeds at bay. They can reuse the same holes. These are all transplanted tomatoes, so they're able just to come back and put the tomatoes right back in. You know, one of the nice things about these tunnels and kind of the microclimate they create is that you can do some really interesting things with cover crops in the growing season. And I think too, you know, since you have season extension now, so you can grow earlier and later in the season, you're not just having a 2-crop sequence where you're going tomatoes, not tomatoes. You've actually got almost a 3 or 4 rotation, because you've got a spring crop. If you do a cover crop in here and then a fall crop, that's 3 different crops before you go back to tomatoes if you put tomatoes in here next year.
Yep.
Hey, my girl.
I think not only do I appreciate organic farming for the health of the consumer who's eating our food, but also the health of the land and water and people who live in rural areas and on farms.
People have been able to farm organically for, you know, years and years and years and years. We have an appreciation for the yesteryear and feel like there's no reason why we can't continue the tradition.